Yes, I choose to believe in God, and I think there we might say, let's agree to disagree.
Okay, I want to say two different things. Let's take the moral thing first. Islam is a nasty religion. I think we agree about that. But Christianity is not all that nice either. And when you think about Christianity, Christianity is obsessed with sin. St. Augustine said that we all inherit the sin of Adam. Well, of course he didn't exist, but so we inherit original sin. Original sin came down in the semen. Jesus was not conceived with semen, that's why he's clear of sin. His mother Mary had to be clear of sin as well, so she had to have an immaculate conception. This is all obvious nonsense.
I find that Christianity is actually obsessed with love, and that the teachings of the teaching of Christ, as I see it, and again, I'm a brand new Christian, but what I'm finding out, which is the opposite of growing up as a Muslim, the message of Islam, but the message of Christianity I get is that it's a message of love, it's a message of redemption, and it's a story of renewal and rebirth. And so Jesus dying and rising again, for me, symbolizes that story. And in a small way, I felt like I had died and I was reborn. And that story of redemption and rebirth, I think makes Christianity actually a very, very powerful story for the human condition and human existence, and the pain of suffering, but also our internal, the recognition of what you call sin, but perhaps the character defects, that both good and evil are there, but that both good and evil are in us. I think those teachings in Christianity are far more powerful and have led to, I think, the flourishing of Western civilization, compared to, say, growing up as a Muslim, when I was taught that really the only way for you to be faithful is to fear, naked fear, and to have these sets of obligations which you basically obey. And that was very much about power, it was centered around hellfire and all of these other things. And so Christianity, as I experience, I'll give you an example. When I was an atheist and I was going all over both the United States and all over Europe, mocking Christians, making fun of them, making fun of faith, as you're doing now, dear Richard. I was walking with 6 to 7 men at any given time, protecting me, armed, from things that I said that were offensive to Muslims, or Muslims thought were offensive to them. Christians were writing me letters saying, you know, we're going to pray for you, you're misguided. And I think that alone defines for me the distinction between Christianity in general, mainstream Christianity, and mainstream Islam.
Well, I must say, I've never met a vicar that I didn't like. I mean, they're always very, very nice people.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the stuff they believe is obvious nonsense. And you have to take the whole package, because, I mean, you talked about Jesus rising from the dead. You don't believe Jesus rose from the dead, surely?
I choose to believe that Jesus rose from the dead.
You choose to believe it?
Yes, and that is a matter of choice. And it's a matter, I think it has to go back to, is there something or is there nothing? And I think you start with, there is nothing. And yes, for years I agreed with you, there's nothing. But if you come round to the idea that there might be something much more powerful than we are, something that caused everything else, then something like Jesus rising out of the dead, or these other miracles, Jesus being born out of a virgin, for that higher power is not a big deal.
When we consider the miraculous nature of our universe going from being non-existent, its state of existence prior to the Big Bang, and then all of the matter and energy now contained within the universe existing as the size of a golf ball, expanding to the universe, which we have barely scratched the surface of becoming familiar with. When we consider the complex code which existed even within scientific materialism at the very beginning of life, the very first single-celled organism appearing with DNA, when we consider the miraculous nature of why there is something rather than nothing deeply and sense a connection with that higher power, then the miraculous is no longer absurd. The very heavens declare the glory of God, and for millennia, scientists have been digging to find a way to explain the start of a universe without a supernatural power. As yet, they failed. They failed in providing a coherent explanation for the agency which initiated the Big Bang. Atheists might respond to that with a God of the gaps citation. I would respond to them with a science of the gaps citation. On Christianity being obsessed with sin, I find that to be a misreading of the Christian faith. Humanity itself is obsessed with sin. Just do a search of the top 10 websites by traffic, and you'll see most of the sites are adulterous sites for pornography. Drug overdoses in the United States have increased from low tens of thousands in the 90s to over 100,000 annually today. We have hearts seeking idols because we lack spiritual depth and we lack spiritual fulfillment. This month, people are throwing the word pride around like it's a good thing. It does not take much of an examination of this world to understand it is in darkness. Acts of cruelty ever abound. Within each of us, we all have the capacity and the habit of sinning in one way or another, and one does not need to reflect on Adam to get to that conclusion. None of us are good enough to enter heaven on our own, nor can we work our way there. Thus, it was an act of love for Christ to go to the cross in our place. Before doing that, the day before he goes to the cross, he knows he's on his way to the cross, and he prays in John 17, a lengthy, beautiful prayer. Part of it, I pray for those who will believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one, I and them and you and me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know you sent me and have loved them as you have loved me. Father, I want those who have given me to be with me where I am and to see my glory, the glory you have given me because you loved me before the creation of the world. Righteous Father, though the world does not know you, I know you, and they know that you have sent me. I have made you known to them and will continue to make known in order that the love you have for me may be in them and I myself may be in them. The Messiah, the Son of God, God in flesh, praying that rather than fleeing his suffering, he's focused on us within the midst of it. Christ is King and every knee will bow. Absolutely.